Have you not listened to your elders, my friend?
I've listened to the elder, but I don't listen to.
Okay, you have.
Welcome to Right Between the Eyes podcast, a KISS podcast with 3 generations of KISS fans telling you why we love it loud.
How can someone who has no interest in music own a record store?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Right Between the Eyes podcast, a KISS podcast with 3, well, in this case, 1 generation of KISS fans telling you why Rob, love it loud. Welcome to RBTE, and I'm so bad at remembering the vlog numbers, so you've seen what vlog number this is. This is for Record Store Day. Nick and Nico. It is late here on a Sunday evening. Record Store Day was yesterday, Saturday the 20th, and it is the 21st on Sunday. And this is my haul from Record Store Day, so you will see a few other things other than KISS-related items here. And I just want to kind of start by saying that I was always kind of hoping that KISS would somehow get into the Record Store Day vinyl thing. I think towards the tail end of KISS being a live entity, they were just focusing on that. And then with rumors of them selling the brand and the IP, that I think there was just some legal things that they were working out, who has publishing, yada, yada, etc. I was always kind of hoping that maybe we would get an off the soundboard or some type of something for Record Store Day to get KISS fans out there. But thankfully, Ace Frehley and the Eric Carr family were enticing us to go out, especially Eric Carr's family. That's been like the first KISS really anything that has come out. I mean, Ace has had stuff here or there, but for Eric Carr's family in the last couple years, or the last year or so, to have 2 significant releases of Rockology, and I was able to pick up most of those, and then they released the Unfinished Business, which I'm kind of looking at. Here is the CD from 2011. So if some of you never really heard about this, and this was your first chance to hear some of it, you got a special version of this in the Creatures of the Night. So you'll see some of that in this video. And I'm going to show some of the other things that I got. It's not a whole mountain of stuff. There's a little lead into my Record Store Day experience. I had got my wife a Christmas gift, and the Record Store Day on the 20th was her Christmas gift. We went to go see a concert. It wasn't in the state of Ohio, which we live in. We went to Indiana, into Xander's kind of neck of the woods. We were a little farther apart than I had realized. I said, hey, we're going to be in your neck of the woods, and he's just a little bit farther than that. So we obviously couldn't work that out, as this was, my wife's Christmas present. So, we weren't trying to cross-pollinate in that. And I got to thinking, when we went to Indianapolis, that's where our hotel was, I thought, oh, Record Store Day's coming. Then I realized, oh, crap, the concert was Friday, Saturday, I'm like, Record Store Day. I'm not in Ohio, and I'm not going to be going to the normal shop that I go to. So with the wife and I doing some detective work from where our hotel was, first of all, I thought, great, I don't know where any record stores are. You're going to put in record stores near me or whatever. And then going, well, gee, how far away are they? There was one that was in less than a mile, and it turned out it was like, we call them Replay here. It was called Record Exchange in Indianapolis, which is the city that we were in. And it was more like they had vinyl, they had CDs, then action figures. It was more of a buy and resell type of a thing. I think at one point they did have a Record Store Day, but I don't think it went very well. So I found one that it was about 5 miles away, and I thought, well, that's kind of sort of on our way home. We can kind of finagle around that. And I went to Indie CD and Vinyl Record Store. What a fantastic, great store. Standing in line with a bunch of Indianapolis natives, just took this Ohio boy in, and it was just really cool. Everybody's there to collect vinyl, and vinyl collectors, and everybody's always talking about, what are you into? What do you like? What are you here for? So it was really cool to spend 3 hours in line with people. Pretty much the same conversations I probably would have had in Ohio, but it felt different being in Indianapolis. And plus, getting to go to a record store that you've never been to, every piece of vinyl is going to feel like a new piece of vinyl. And, you know, like I'm going to go to the K's and they normally don't have a whole lot of Kiss, or I'm going to check other bands out. It felt like I was going to walk through a gold mine, and what, you know, unearthed gems am I going to find in the store, realizing I only have so much money and I only have so much time, and it's not a normal day where I can spend an hour plus in the record store, because as you know, as these lines go, as X number of people leave, then the next batch of people can come in. So the longer you spend in the record store browsing around, which, I mean, they want you to, that's also making the other people wait in line when I'm waiting in line going, okay, I want to get in, I want to get the records, because you're there to pick up the store for Record Day store exclusive, while you have knuckleheads like me from Ohio that wants to peruse the shop that I was at, that I don't know if I'm ever going to get back there. And the cool thing was I was able to text Xander from Kiss Army Things like, hey, this is the store that I'm at. This is really cool. Indianapolis is really cool, but your roads are kind of sucky. That's what the wife and I kept saying. But so I got to experience it with Xander. The store that I was at was opening at 8 o'clock in the morning, and Xander's store was opening at like 10 or so. So I was like, I felt like I was in time. I was 2 hours early. Like, I'm going to get to see this stuff. So it was really kind of cool to still hang out with him, even though it was virtually, but to say, hey, we're in the same state together. So I'm blathering here. I'm going to do these. I'm going to save the Kiss item for last. I don't have very much here, but after I picked up my record store day stuff, they're like, hey, you know, take a lap around the store and check. So I've mentioned some of these other bands on the podcast. I'm a big Dream Theater fan. So this album came out right actually during the COVID days, Distant Memories in London. This is one of the last shows they did in 2019 before the lockdown. Now, this was not a record store day exclusive or record store day anything. This was just a normal release, and this has kind of been pricey to come across, and I do own this on CD in a special booklet, but the vinyl had some cool other things, and you know, you can't buy everything. So the longer time went by, I thought, I'm not going to be able to get it. This was actually in their used bin, and they had a great, you know, used vinyl section. And I saw this stick in there. So this was actually supposed to come with CDs as well. This is from a Revolver online exclusive in gold. It's a gold vinyl. I'm not going to pull all of it out because people watching Kiss stuff are going, we don't care about Dream Theater, get to the Kiss stuff. But this is really cool. But I was looking at the contents of this. I think the person turned this in knowing it was basically for vinyl, but they kept the CDs. And at first I was like, oh, they kept the CDs, but I already have the CDs of this. But the vinyl is so cool to be able to see this in bigger print, and the booklet is a little bit bigger than the one that I had. So this was cool. This is what the extra that I picked up at the record store. Then one of my other favorite bands that I just saw and got to meet the band on my birthday. Actually, my wife got it for my birthday on the 10th, but we went down to Columbus to see the band around the 20th of February, and it is Seven Dust. So this is their first release for Record Store Day. This is Heavier Than Seven. So you can see here on the hype sticker, if it's over here, this says 7 singles from Seven Dust from 2005 to 2015, pressed on a black and red splatter, which is really cool. So 4 tracks on one side and 3 on the other from the record label they were on at this time. So it was cool to get a Seven Dust Record Store Day exclusive, which I really, really liked. And I love all these songs. Again, another one of my favorite bands, top 3 favorite bands, Dream Theater being, you know, one of my top 3 favorite bands. It's probably Kiss is always number 1, and depending on the day, it's like Seven Dust, Dream Theater, and the next band that I'm going to show here is a band that I loved in high school, and then they are on their farewell tour right now, and that is Mr. Big and their big album, Lean Into It, in 1992. It had the, you know, top 40 song, I'm the One Who Wants to Be With You. They recorded this in Japan, and this kind of correlates that Mr. Big lost their drummer due to Parkinson's. So Nick DiVirgilio here, who played in Spock's Beard and was on the Genesis album without Phil Collins, and He's got a band called Big Big Train. He was asked to join Mr. Big on their farewell tour and has actually recorded Mr. Big's final album, which goes into Indiana, Indianapolis. He works at Sweetwater Music and is the drum lead chairperson or whatever of Sweetwater and does a lot of their video content. So they recorded their album in Sweetwater, Indiana, and I'm really hoping when the official or when the final album, maybe they'll do an in-store signing at Sweetwater. So that would be cool. I'm a huge fan of Nick DiVirgilio, and Pat Torpey, who was the original drummer in Mr. Big, had passed away just in I believe 2 years ago now. It's been. So this is them doing the entire Lean Into It album. And it's a really cool Record Store Day exclusive. It's on black and red vinyl. So red being one of my favorite colors. So 2 of the vinyl pressings I got are on black and red splatter. So this was a big one. This was probably, as much as the next album that you're going to see, was a big one. If I could only get one album, if I'm telling the truth here, this was the one I really wanted. Yes, I wanted the next one that you're going to see, and we all know what the next one is, but this was a big one. I got the last copy of this one. I got the last copy of Seven Dust, and I got the third to last copy of this. Of course, it is Eric Carr's Unfinished Business. Got it on vinyl. I made my own poly bag and sleeve. I bought some oversized poly bag sleeves for some of the double live albums. And some of the box sets and things like that. I don't have a box set bag, but I've been watching some other YouTubers and vinyl collectors, and they are cutting their oversized bags on one half and then sliding it in. So basically I made like a big pocket. You cut one half on one side, and on the opposing side, you cut the other sleeve, and then you can tape them together, put the 2 ends together, and you can make a bigger sleeve. So I'm not going to go through what is all on here. I'll just probably kick you over to my buddy Xander. He kind of went through this kind of like track by track and kind of what the album was about. I want to do that properly on the podcast. This is basically just like a haul. Hey, this is where it is, what it is. I will read this here. It says, I always peel the hype sticker off and I put it on my new bag that I make, or the sleeve that I put it in. So it's a special edition, flashing light effects. This is Record Store Day exclusive. Former drummer of Kiss, 5 never before released bonus tracks, bonus demo tracks, new comic book style poster, 12 by 24 poster, 12 inch by 24 inch poster, with rare photos and liner notes. And this comes on blue and yellow vinyl. So I'll set that down here. So the big thing is the lights. So it's fitting for the podcast right between the eyes. It is literally right between the eyes. There we go. So isn't that cool? Now my wife figured out, because she's smarter than I am, is running her hands across of it. She's like, oh, you just run your hands across it, and it's a lot easier to turn the eyes off and on here. And I'm like, no, it's supposed to be right between the eyes. That's what the instructions say. So she would just run her hand over it and go, no, it's just easier to do this. So yes. And I didn't realize it at first on the other hype sticker. See, I'm touching in the middle. Should have swiped over. I noticed this little port. I've got a ring light on the computer, so I can't see there. So I noticed this. That is a USB drive. I kept going, I wonder what that is. Like, this is pretty thick. I wonder if there was something underneath of it where there's sounds from Creatures of the Night or something like that. And if I had read the hype sticker, which I will grab here really quick, the hype sticker above the other hype sticker, it says battery flashing, recharging. Just try that again, folks. Battery charger for flashing eyes. It says fully recharge the box set for 50 minutes. It said for every 500 charging cycle for long lasting use. There we go. I had the thing folded, couldn't read it. It says use any USB-C cable or USB-C charging device. Make sure that the red light is on in the left eye while charging. So apparently I've got a USB-C charger somewhere. I don't have it here currently at the moment, but the left eye will have a red light indicator right there to let you know that it's charging. And when that goes away, you'll know, hey, Eric is ready to do some more damage from behind the drums. So I'll open this up pretty quick here. So I kept thinking that there was something underneath this section here because it is pretty thick. So hoping not to steal it out. So this is probably all of the housing and all of the wiring that is going inside for the eyes and the charging dock station. So I kind of like was moving this a little bit, thinking maybe it's a magnet, maybe there's a poster. I kept thinking maybe there's instructions somewhere. And initially I thought, oh, I wonder if I plug this in, do I get more content? Is there a digital version on here? No, I just didn't read the hype sticker close enough. It's the charging station for that. And I thought, well, maybe the cable is in here somewhere. So they didn't include that. I believe that might be what this cable is right here, because I have got one for my computer. But neither here nor there. Maybe I'll do that in another video some other time. But I will pull this out here. So once you get the box opened up, bear with me just a moment. So I've got the poster right here. So it's kind of out. We will do the poster here real quick. So this is really cool. Like they did the last time we got a poster for Eric. And is that not just the coolest thing right there? They have a print of Eric's signature right here. Probably straight up from like Creatures of the Night-esque. They kind of take some liberties in giving us an original like comic rendering of a poster. So that's really cool. As much as the last album was in style of the 78 solo albums, this is in a style that's reminiscent of that, but more of its own thing, showing off just Eric Carr here. Just what a fantastic release. I'll show you the back of the box as well. So we've got something here from Eric Carr from Hot in the Shade. You can see all of the tracks here. This other side here of the, I believe it's probably the yellow disc. The bonus tracks are on their own. So the main disc is pretty much what the original CD had, I think barring a couple other, special things there. So try and get the camera back in focus. There we go. So this feels more like a vinyl album. So if I wanted to sleeve and bag and board this and put the box set up, I could do so and file this back there. But the box set's so cool. I'm just going to keep all of it together. So you have a printed sleeve on each one of these. I'll try and do these one by one here quickly. So here's a shot of Eric from Creatures of the Night. You can see the tank there. So very cool. And then you have all of the tracks. Side 1, side 2 of Unfinished Business, which I believe they are pretty much the same as the CD. Let's check the vinyl out because that's what we want to see. So this should be the blue. Oh, it's nice translucent. I'll probably have to re-sleeve this. All the cardboard dust. It's like vacuum. I shouldn't say vacuum seal. It's all the static. So anybody that still puts their albums back in their sleeve that came in, that is like one of the worst things you can do. You're building up static discharge that wants to get paper into it, and it's just not good for the records. So re-sleeve your records, folks. And this is super, super tight, again, from all the static electricity. And again, you've got electricity of some type. I know all the vinyl collectors are looking at me going, you're just smudging the album. I will clean this, but I'm trying to not tear the CD jacket. Oh, man. I don't know if you can hear this. That is just the album sticking to this. And it's funny. We're living in a day and age where we're trying to preserve vinyl and have the best high quality, and you're throwing them in these crappy paper sleeves. Again, I like having the printed sleeve, and that's old school, but it's just horrible for the records. In the Mr. Big album I got, and the Seven Dust album came in a poly-lined. Oh, I just tore it. Son of a gun. Caught that right on camera. That is all from static electricity discharge buildup Horrible, horrible for the records. And as much as we're trying to keep everything nice and mint, I tore it trying to get it out. I might not have had I not been on camera, but do not put them back in their paper sleeves. Do not. That is the worst thing you can do for your vinyl collection. Get a proper sleeve, which I've got right here. Static free sleeve. You see MoFi right here is the digital service I use. You take this. Slide it back in. Now it is protected. It relieves the album from... It keeps the record cleaner. It's static free. Easy to pull out. You can see it. This is cool. I love having the printed sleeve. Just slide this in the album. I think it's probably just a cost saving. It's cheaper to do it on paper than to put it in one of these. But it's, if you care about your vinyl, this is what you'll do. So that's my preaching. So that's vinyl number 1. So if we know the struggle that Rob just had with the first vinyl, let's see if he has the same struggle with the next. Yep, I can just hear it. This makes for good television, right, folks? Watching Rob struggle. This is horrible. I wonder if I can get my hand in here and release some of the static discharge. There we go. That's probably what I should have done. So, here's this one. Thought I had another sleeve off to the side. I do not, but I will. That's cool, like a translucent yellow. Very cool. Great product, great product. It's just, and again, probably all that static discharge from being inside the box set and getting shipped and getting handled. It just builds up. Some paper sleeves aren't that bad. This is a little bit slicker, so maybe you're not going to get that paper discharge that gets embedded down in. But here's the track listing for the second album, side 3 and side 4. And then a great shot of Eric from Animalize, 1984-85 tour. And that is pretty much going to do it. I was told my wife short and sweet, and I'm out 22 minutes, and part of that was just trying to fight getting the album out. So while I re-sleeve the other albums, I'm going to put a sleeve in this one and then slide the records down in between the sleeve, which you've probably seen me do on the channel before, very much like this. That way I can pull the sleeve out. That saves from the ring wear getting imprinted on that, saves from the record going in and out of the cardboard jacket, and you're not taking it out of that crappy sleeve that they put it in. Again, the artwork's great. I just wish they would have slid all that in there. We just would have had, paper inserts to read rather than putting the record in old school. So that's my soapbox. That is my haul from Record Store Day. Let me know down in the comments what you got, and then we will do a proper deep dive on both of Eric's albums, his posthumous albums that were released after his death. But more on that on a future episode coming up here. I've got to edit in this next week an episode that Nico, and I just filmed last Thursday before we went to our concert in Indianapolis on the selling of the KISS brand and IP and what all that means. So you have that forward to look to hopefully this week as well. I'm going to try and get some fancy editing done early this week, and if not, it may be the following week. I know we've been a little slow getting some content out, but we're also trying to bank some stuff as well for the future. So we'll see you guys hopefully very soon on the next episode. On the behalf of Nick and Nico, I'm Rob, telling you that we love it loud. Turn it up. Record Store Day 2024. Bye. Do you ever get to doing something and you realize, oh, when I get done doing that, I'm going to do this really quick? I forgot to do that. So there was one more record I got, and this was actually probably one of the cooler things that had happened at Indie CD and Vinyl Record Store was, as you went through the line to go check out, I was taking all my purchases up to the line up there, and I had made a comment to the couple of people, and that was the other thing. The staff was there, was really helpful. Do you need any help as you were wandering around? Is this your first time here? And I said, yeah. They said, oh, where are you from? And I said, Ohio. And half of the staff turned around. They're like, wow, really? You came all the way from Ohio? And I was like, yeah, we came down for a concert. And I, told them the story of trying to find a shop, and I saw this and said, just from the interaction from their Facebook page with their customers and the pictures of the store, I was like, this looked like it was going to be a great store. They were really promoting Record Store Day. And I said, that's got to be the shop. And I said, also, you were 5 minutes from the hotel. So that boded really well for me. And the guy's like, well, make sure you spin the wheel before you check out, because there's prizes, there's discounts that will take off your percentage of, maybe 10% off your total price or 20% off. I think they maybe has had high as 30%. I think then they had some other things. Then they had this red or this orange one right there. Red and orange were their primary colors. It was like a little wheel that you would have at a fair, more like a bingo wheel or something like that. So about the size of a vinyl record. So I spun it really quick, and it went around, click, 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 click. And, the guy was watching the wheel go around. I had spun it fast enough. It spun for a little bit. So he kind of turned and looked, and I said, oh, I won a prize. I landed on the orange one. He turned around. He's like, seriously? I was like, well, yeah, it's right there. He turned around and went, we just had a grand prize winner. So all the staff were like, wow, really? Seriously? And he said, yeah, he just spun the wheel. And I don't know how many, like 100, 200 people, whatever it was, were ahead of me in line. He's like, nobody has landed on that yet. So they were like, what were we doing for a grand prize? So they had put a bag in front of me of concert tickets and then a box of vinyl. So they handed out like this flyer of tickets you could win. I think Hailstorm was there, and I don't have it here in front of me. But being from Ohio and then looking at some of the dates that there were, that's time off of work that we're not planning. That's getting a hotel. It was a little over 3 hours to get there. Not that it's not horrible, not that we couldn't make it work, but they said one of the other prizes is pick a vinyl from this box, free, anything. So one thing they had there was Def Leppard's newest album, which I already had, and some other artists I really didn't know. And I was like, I'm just really not seeing anything. And the guy was like, well, keep looking. And I was like, all right, there's probably 10 records in there. And I recognized the logo, and I saw this. I thought, oh, it's Marshall Amplifiers. And it says Marshall Record Store Day 2024 Limited Edition Compilation. And I was like, oh, well, free record. That's not bad. And I could hear some people go, look at the concert tickets. They had a bag of them. So I think they were in 2s and 4s. And that was the other thing, like coming home to Ohio going, hey, I got 4 tickets to go see Hailstorm or whoever. Anybody want to come to Indianapolis with us? So I thought getting a free record isn't bad. But this label, as I'm still backwards here, was on the front of it. It's a little piece of cardboard. You can see the gold vinyl. It's like a translucent gold, Mountain Dewish, mellow yellowish yellow in the right light. And it says, turn up the volume for the first ever Marshall Records compilation album. Jam to our favorite tracks from our very own record label, pressed by our friends at Gold Rush Vinyl. To celebrate Record Store Day 2024, bring your community in. Now, this is to the record stores. So they had left this on the album. It says, bring your community in on the fun and the vinyl in a giveaway, either in person or through social media. Please be sure to hashtag us at marshallrecordsvinyl.com. So they're based out of UK, and there's some other, whatnots on here. So this was a giveaway, and every record store that was participating in it, most of them, if they were participating in this, you only got one. Some record stores got none, but most of the record stores that probably do a bigger batch of business got one of these to do strictly as a giveaway. So when the guy was like, look through there, and I almost just picked up the Def Leppard album again. I thought, well, maybe I could do it as a giveaway since we've talked about Def Leppard. But I saw this, and the 2024 caught my eye, and I'm like, well, None of the other ones sell that. Again, I was trying to get out of the store so I could let the next batch of people in. So this was the free record that I got, and I don't know any of the bands or artists that are on here. None of them ring a bell to me, but hey, a free record isn't bad, and who knows, I could come into contact with a couple other bands that I'm hearing for the first time and become fans of just from winning this free record. So, okay, that's it. I've gone over the time that I've told the wife that, hey, I'm only going to shoot this video really quick. And now with adding this in, I'm at 26 minutes. And she probably is thinking, of course, it's going to be longer than 15 minutes. So again, Right Between the Eyes, check us out. We're on all social medias, and you can find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts. And of course, if you're watching here on YouTube, then thank you for watching. Hit and smash that like button and bell and do all that crazy stuff so you can get more notifications of when we're doing videos. And 2024 is going to be a really cool year for us, working on some really cool stuff. So bear with us. We've got more stuff coming your way. Until the next time, I'm Rob for Nick and Nico. We'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.